School board meeting.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm going to reconvene the regular board meeting at 7:44. Item 4A, flag salute. Mr. Falsgraf, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
No, thank you, though.
Item 4B, civility statement. Ms. Taxoni, would you do that, please?
The civility statement states, communicate clearly and concisely with a respect for the time of others. Listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others. Understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors. Understand and respect district policies and procedures. Maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you, Ms. Texon. Item 5A, report of action taken in closed session. The board will consider and may act on any of the following items in closed session. Any action taken in closed session will be recorded in open session as required by law. Closed session may be called at any time during a formal meeting by a motion of the Board of Education for the purpose of discussing personnel problem, pupil problem, purchase consultation on a legal problem or with an attorney, and with an employee organizations in regard to salaries and or fringe benefits. All formal action involving such matters must be made in open meeting. As president, it's my duty to inform that there was discussion on legal and pupil matters and no action was taken. Item 6A, public comments. I'm going to read this. To speak to the Board of Trustees, cards are located on the exhibit table for any agendized or non-agendized item to the superintendent prior to the meeting. Not more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker, and no more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments and recognitions and reports to the board and is not intended to be a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy, and an administrator will provide answers at a later date. Dr. Zahakian, do we have any requests to speak? The first item up is, first person to come and speak is Adina Klaus. For all speakers coming forward, if you could state your name for the record, and when you begin, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Adina Klaus. Dear Dr. Sahakian and esteemed board members, I am a very proud teacher at Meadowlark School and a proud parent of 2 children in this school district. My daughter is at Vasquez and my son is at High Desert. I love working at Meadowlark because of the high caliber and professionalism of our teachers. We have worked to create a caring environment and consistency for our students who are still recovering from the disruption of the COVID lockdown. Our students are behind academically, not only months, but years. Socially and emotionally, they are delayed in their development. We are struggling to work hard to move them forward with their skills. And even still, there are students who need even more specialized instruction. And this is where our SOAR program comes in. The very key, most important linchpin piece of Meadowlark School is our SOAR program. This stands for the State of Academic Readiness. This is an intervention program that targets our students who are most in need of extra support to learn how to read. These are the students who are struggling the most, and the program pulls students every single day. In this room, they work with teachers in small groups where they can work on the specific skills they are lacking. This is something the regular teacher is just not able to do, especially not with the extremely high class sizes that we have. This is an early intervention program to help students who are most in need, and if their needs are not addressed, they will continue to fall behind every single year. These are the students who are at risk of not graduating, and worse still, they won't be ready for the workforce. The SOAR program is run by Mrs. Candace Palacios. I have known her for over 8 years, and I am continually blown away by her professionalism and hard work ethic. She has taken over the program and has continued to support our students who can make gains, but have otherwise would not be able to do so. If she were taken from our campus and used as a teacher, a substitute teacher no less, these students would be in jeopardy of not receiving the services they so desperately need. My students love to go and can't wait to see Mrs. Palacios. By removing them and her and altering this program in any way, you are sabotaging their confidence in themselves and are preventing them from reaching their potential. They have developed a bond with her so that they trust her enough to learn to read, because these are our students who are most fearful and scared. It should not be a surprise to you that our school district falls only within the 50th percentile for reading of academic performance statewide. We are at the 36th math proficiency and 53rd reading proficiency percentile. This is embarrassing and shameful. For such a small school district, we should be able to provide our children with a more specialized support network, and we have failed those most struggling students. Implementing interventions in elementary school are the most crucial place to begin, and we need to continue our SOAR program with Mrs. Candace Palacios. And I'm asking you most desperately to please not change this program. Thank you very much. And my husband is having a hip replacement tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, and I'm choosing to be here.
The next speaker.
Next speaker is Candace Palacios.
Good evening, Superintendent Sahakian and Governing Board. My name is Candace Palacios, and I am a teacher on special assignment, or a TOSA, and I'm the literacy coach at Meadowlark School. I would like to take a moment to share with you a little bit about our SOAR Reading Intervention Program and the amazing achievements that our students are making. SOAR provides reading support to students in grades K through 4. They're selected for SOAR based off school-wide universal screening, which I conduct one-on-one individually with 300 plus students in grades K through 4. Then our grade level teams meet and discuss the needs, and 8 students across each grade level are selected to participate in the SOAR program. We provide instruction in small groups for 30 minutes in kindergarten and 40 minutes in grades 1 through 4 every day. Each student has 2 personal learning goals that they are working towards, including letter and sound recognition, phonics skills, reading fluency, and more. Last year in SOAR, we saw incredible growth in all students who participated. Certainly, we saw gains in the categories I previously mentioned, like phonics skills. But perhaps more importantly, we also saw gains in student confidence and the ability to have a growth mindset. The students that we work with each day in SOAR are students who find learning to read to be a challenge. They enter the program initially struggling with reading, and we often hear phrases like, I can't, I don't know how, I don't want to, this is too hard, out of sheer frustration. But our team models every day that it's okay to struggle, it's okay to not know how. We explain to our students that they can't read yet, but they will soon be able to. Yes, it takes many repetitions and it takes hard work and effort, but they can and they will, and they are learning to do so. Imagine what it must be like to be in a classroom with 20 or 30 students where they all seem to be, they see 7 other peers who attend with them who also struggle, who also need support, and they see 4 trusted grown-ups that they can count on, that check in with them daily, that wave to them in the hallway in a dismissal. They feel supported. Now imagine this is your child, And imagine if the program were to be ended or modified or changed. This would be devastating. Our students need this program, and I will happily stand here today and advocate on their behalf. Thank you for providing our students with the tools that they need to become successful readers through this vital program, and thank you for supporting the SOAR program.
The next speaker is Sandy Jacobson.
Good evening, Dr. Sahakian and members of the board. My name is Sandy Jacobson and I teach first grade at Meadowlark. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. It is well known that school districts across the country are facing teacher shortages. Our district is no exception. At Meadowlark, our students are the victims of the teacher shortage in our district, both with their general classroom teachers and with their support staff. This district is failing our children. Some teachers are being reassigned mid-year to positions for which they were not originally hired. Other teachers are having to pack up their classrooms and unpack someplace else, all while trying to prepare for and teach their current students. This chaos and inconsistency does not respect the time and needs of either our staff or our students. Our shortage of teachers, resulting in oversized classrooms, fails our students because they are not able to receive the dedicated instruction that they so desperately deserve. According to the Public School Review, the state of California has the worst student-teacher ratio in the country of 22:1. Our district is not even meeting that. My classroom alone has 30 students and others have over 30. I do break into small groups, yet every day I ask myself, since when is 10 students considered a small group for children who don't yet even know their letters and sounds? Our district is failing our children. I'm sure you are thinking, we can't bring down our student-teacher ratio because we can't get teachers. Just last night, I looked at the district job postings on EdJoin, so I know that an effort is being made to procure more teachers. While filling all of those positions would technically meet our school site average, several classes would still remain too large to effectively implement best teaching practices. Adding more classroom aides would be a temporary solution. More aides would provide students with support, and teachers would actually have time to prepare their classes. However, because our time is not respected by the demands of our unbelievably packed day, we work through those breaks in order to meet the many needs of our students and hope that we're able to squeeze in a bite of a sandwich or a trip to the bathroom before we get home and collapse at the end of the day. More classroom aides, just a thought to consider. We have over 340 students on our campus, and even though the district has 3 full-time counselors, presumably 1 for each campus, we share 1 guidance counselor with High Desert. Ms. Bambi has been a phenomenal addition to our staff, yet our most needy students are still lacking the support they need because she's rarely available. If your child was in crisis, wouldn't you want them to have access to a counselor and not have to wait until it was her scheduled day to be at the school? This split schedule for our counselor is yet another example of how our district is failing our students. Our district website says, quote, empowering today's learners to thrive in tomorrow's world. How can we empower them when we don't even have enough staff to connect with them? If the district continues to fail our children by not providing enough teachers and by not equitably scheduling staff members who serve multiple campuses, we are not living up to our own slogan. Instead of empowering today's learners, we are defeating them before they even have the opportunity to thrive in tomorrow's world. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker, Michelle Fernandez.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Fernandez, and I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Meadowlark. I have been in the district for 8 years and have had 3 superintendents, 4 principals, and 4 interim principals. There's clearly a huge problem with turnover being this high. The staff doesn't know what to expect, the parents don't know what to expect, more importantly, students don't know what to expect. I am here tonight to speak on behalf of the elementary teachers and the lack of respect and support that we are receiving. Our time is less equitable than others in regards to planning, prepping, and grading. Meadowlark teachers receive 1 hour once a week. 1 hour once a week to plan, to prep, to grade, to organize, to cut, to do all the things that elementary teachers do. 1 hour once a week. While other members in ADA are given an hour every day. Or they are compensated if that hour is taken from them because they are called to do something else. When some staff members are doing the same job as others, they should be compensated the same. Not doing this is causing teacher burnout at a very, very fast rate and bringing staff morale down big time at Meadowlark. For those that are unaware, I am speaking about something that's called a 1/6, and what that is everybody at the junior high and the high school has 6 periods. One of those periods is free for them every day to plan, prep, grade, do all the things that teachers do. Meadowlark and 5th and 6th grade teachers do not get a 1/6. So we are still expected to do it all, but we are doing it on our own time, which means I am grading at home on the weekends instead of spending time with my family. At night, I am cutting out and laminating supplies. I shouldn't have to do that at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. I should be given time during the day to do my job. When staff is treated poorly and ignored, it drives people to search for something different and go where they are respected and compensated. This district is already suffering with a lack of staff. That is not a secret. We all know we are suffering. One of the best ways to improve that is to respect and support the people who literally give their blood, sweat, and tears to their job. To the people who go out of their way to make sure students succeed and give them a voice when they don't have one because they're too little. By ignoring your staff and not respecting them, you are sending a very loud and clear message that not only do we not matter, but more importantly, your students don't matter. Thank you.
The next speaker will be Kelly Sutton.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Sutliff, and I am a kindergarten teacher at Meadowlark. I have been here for probably 10 years. I am here to talk about equity. Equity is defined as the state of equality of being fair and just. When we returned from COVID, the teachers faced issues that we had never faced before. Many students were immature and needy, and more than usual. They were socially awkward from being separated from their peers and from the support of their schools. There were more academic and social emotional holes to fill, and our numbers are growing. They needed support. When Miss Bambi joined Meadowlark, she opened her doors to the students. She gave them a safe and consistent place, and she made a difference. When she started being pulled from our side, the students felt it. The trust she built was being broken. But she is just one of our support services. Another program is called SOAR, and this program is for the most academic needy students. Small groups are pulled daily and consistently. Goals are made and progress is reported. Ms. Palacios is the teacher in charge of SOAR. She is amazing at her job, and data shows that she makes a difference. She is now being told that she has to take a teaching position, a sub-position, for a grade that cannot be filled, thus sacrificing SOAR and jeopardizing our neediest students' success. I ask, where is the equity? How is this being just or fair? As teachers, we have faced a multitude of challenges, oversized classrooms with more behavior issues than we have ever seen. We have limited resources and limited support, and yet we continue to rise. We rise because we have an incredible staff and a supportive principal, but we need our support services. We need them to be consistent and reliable. We are building trust and relationship with our students and parents every day. This year, we have had to redo our schedules to accommodate our PE, music, counselor, and now SOAR because they are being pulled to a different site. As a primary teacher, I cannot tell you how important it is to keep a schedule and a routine. Those first hours of school are sacred. They are reserved for ELA and math, and when the students are fresh and alert. Redoing our schedules have cut into this valuable block. We are teachers, we are not babysitters. We teach, we support, and we care for our students. Taking a teacher and moving them into a position that you can't forget.
The next speaker is Brody Villaseñor.
Good evening, board members and community members. I'm Brody Villaseñor. I'm the captain for this year's varsity boys basketball team for Vasquez High School. This is just an invitation to anybody that wants to be involved with this basketball team. Personally, we're doing way better than our last season. We already went against one team for kind of like a little scrimmage, and we blew them out of the water. As a Christian, but I have to check with my coach. But we're having this thing where any guest that comes gets a free white T-shirt. It's called the Whiteout, and we're looking to have our whole bleacher just covered in white T-shirts. So if any of y'all or any of you guys can make it mean the world for us. And when we play not just for ourselves but for our community, and we would really appreciate it if our community would support us. Thank you.
Next speaker, Christine Johnson.
Hi, my name is Christine Johnson. Good evening, board members and superintendent. It's been a while since I've been here. I am the president of the board of directors at Aadusd Meeting, and just wanted to come by and just say hi. If you haven't met me, and those of you who haven't seen me in a while, just wanted to say thank you for your continued support and authorization, and let you know that we are getting back in the movement, getting back on campus. If you haven't come by and seen the farm, I don't know if any of you have heard, we do have emu and micro cows and donkeys and pigs. The kinder and TK yard, the children have recess and learn with curriculum. It's K through 5, and trying to immerse myself.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes my report. Item 7, the COVID-19 report. Dr. Zahakian. Thank you. Thank you, Nurse Wright, for your report and your diligence. It's always appreciated. COVID-19 claimed the lives of 65 people in LA County overall last week. 7,292 people reported testing positive. In our two communities of Acton and Agua Dulce, surrounding areas, there have been 16 new cases since our last report 3 weeks ago. In our district community, we have had 6 reported positive cases since September 28th. As a reminder, employees are no longer required to test unless they have symptoms of COVID-19. Due to low turnout of vaccination clinics, the vaccination clinics have been discontinued for Nurse Carrie Wright. We encourage all of our staff and students to research getting vaccinated with new vaccines specifically targeting the variants. In addition, we want to let our community know that we are entering the flu season and we recommend getting your flu shot vaccine now to make sure that we keep our students safe and in school. That concludes our report for COVID-19. 7F, submissions, Dr. Sahaki. No submissions this evening, Mr. Rodriguez, thank you. Board comments, number 8A, Ms. Jensen.
Good evening. First of all, thank you, Emily, for all your comments. I hope you go into the teaching profession. We really need to get on the team. I want everyone to know your comments do not fall on deaf ears. Yes, I can read them all. And so, first of all, let me remind everyone that I am a teacher. I'm an administrator now, but teaching is always dear to my heart. They're the closest to our students, and so I do not take your comments lightly. I understand that the profession is hard right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts and shortages and other things. So I just want our teachers to know that we do appreciate all their hard work and diligence, and you know, we're trying to we try to do the best that we can do. And I don't feel like anyone was really calling it out in particular. I just think people are frustrated, and what I heard tonight was that we're all in this together and we want to make everything better for our students, and doing that as not just a school district but as a community. So I appreciate everyone that has been putting in those extra hours and doing all that work. And I understand that teaching is really hard, and that we do have a lot of concerns about social emotional learning and reading scores and those things, because I know I have to do that every day as well. So thank you. Dr. Sahakian, I want to let you know that I recognize your position as well, maybe better than some people, as far as constantly trying to think out of the box to solve some of these problems, and getting a $1 million grant is nothing to take lightly, and address some of the concerns that were brought up this evening about safety and things like that. And so I appreciate the fact that you don't sit in your desk, sit in the office like some may think, that you're always constantly thinking outside the box and how you're going to solve some of these problems without simply just saying, I don't have the money for it and I can't fix the problem. You're, I know you well enough to know that things weigh heavy on your mind, and you appear quiet because you're thoughtful and you're thinking very hard about how you can solve some of these problems. Your job is not easy, and so I just want you to know that I appreciate all your hard work that you do for our students. Of course, Alexa left. It's wonderful and so exciting that she's coming back, and kind of ironic that it's in October that she's returning. And so best wishes. You've been in our prayers all along if you're still listening, Alexa. And I'd also like to recognize our administrators. It wasn't brought up this evening, but this week is the week of, this month is the month of school administrators, but this week is when we celebrate our school administrators. So Dr. Sakin, if you haven't gotten a gift yet, you better do so by Friday, which is tomorrow. So I'd like to recognize our school administrators, because I want everyone to know, I've been a principal as well, that when your teachers are feeling the stress, so are you. And when we hear our teachers crying out and they're tired and exhausted, and when you have a teacher that doesn't want to go and give up her reading program, but you have students that need a teacher, those are the hard decisions you have to make. It's not fun, it's not easy to do, and it stresses everyone out. And I know there's lots of sleepless nights by many people in this room. And it doesn't matter if you're a school board member, a teacher, a student, it doesn't matter. There's a lot going on right now. So we're all in this together, and trust me, if I could, I would come and sub, and I would do that if I could. Because we don't have substitutes. It's not that simple to say put an instructional aid in a classroom because you can't find them either. So I think that we just all need to kind of pause and support each other. And I'm going to ask parents, instead of coming up here and always giving comments, get out a pair of scissors and ask the first grade teacher what you can cut out tomorrow when you're at home. And what you can, we have lots of community members, and we have lots of people in this community that are blessed that they could stay home and take care of their children. We have some, and I'm not saying that, I've been a stay-at-home mom too, and that's also a tough job. But you could possibly give up some of your time to cut out some stuff for a first grade teacher when we say that we're all in this together, be part of the solution, and help as much as you can. And men can cut out too. So I can show you if you need some help. So we all can be doing those types of things. You could come and read to a student and read with a student and things like that. So When we're saying that we need to do things as a community, coming up, we're aware we need teachers. We don't need people to pull a yellow card to tell us we need teachers. We're well aware that we need teachers. We don't need that. What we need is to be part of the solution and come and go up to one of the schools and say, what can I do to help? And what do you need from me? And teacher, what do I need to do for you? If everyone in the community would give up 1 hour a week, imagine what we could do together. And that's what needs to happen, because we can't solve this alone. And you know what I love too, and despite of all this happening, we have BMX and costume parties and sports and all these things. So that just tells you that no matter how burnt out we are, we all want what's best for our kids, and we want them to have a wonderful experience in school. And some of these comments I think were wonderful. I think everyone was respectful, but they're just trying to figure out, and they just feel the hurt that we want what's best for our kids. So please help out a teacher. Please get out a pair of scissors. Color inside the lines if they make things for your bulletin boards, because we're really picky about that. We don't like things messy. And I know that's how you feel, because I've seen your classroom. So, but we'll take whatever help we can get. So I know that there's lots of planning for lots of different activities. And so, but I just want everyone to know I appreciate you, no matter what capacity you serve in our community, whether you're doing things for our community, things for our schools. This is why we live in Acton. This is why we're here. This is why we love this community. And so I just think we're all in this together, so let's all hang in there.
Okay, sorry guys, when you say board member comments, I'm ready to roll. And candidates, sorry to drag you into that. Alexa, sorry, you know me. I mean, my kids still turned up despite of it. So, did I cover POS parenting well enough, or do I need to repeat it? Does everybody out there understand? The teacher is not your child's mother, father, psychiatrist, prison guard. No offense. Sorry. You know, it's on your prison. I was raised by a prison while I was my microphone.
So anyway, yeah, parent your children. Don't dump them on here and then have me up here getting freaked out by people who don't understand and who are just not socially inappropriate enough like me to call you out for poor parenting. Yeah. Questions? I didn't think so. Let's go on to the rest of my wonderful stuff. Oh yeah. 4 years ago, I got on this board. People are like, hey, Falls, what are you going to do to replace the money we're taking from charter kids? But guess what? I hire competent employees like that one. He threw $2.3 million of $4 million back on the table. No charter revenue. This guy just got us $1 million. He was writing a grant while people were in here calling to hang him up and telling me I don't run again. Well, guess what? I'm here. I will be here for 4 more years. Because you know why? Because I know how to hire people that are talented, that know how to self-fund this district. Does anybody think, what's the grant for? One more time. Safety, security. Does that sound like something somebody was talking about tonight? We got $1 million over 3 years. My problem is if we have the $3 million or $1 million, that's 333. I'm doing great on math, people. But in year 4, what do we have? Oh, look at you. Oh, you've been hanging around with this grant money right here. I see that. No, important. You have to build capacity. Remember, No Child Left Behind? They would give you money, so your scores went up, 2%, 2%. And then at the end, what do they do? When 100% of your kids aren't fully proficient with the brightest students in the United States, what do? They put you in program improvement, punish you, and humiliate you. That come out of Texas. You can't expect much out of Texas. No man's land. But they punish people for that. So you have to build efficiency. The whole idea was we build efficiency and we make program improvements that will be sustainable with no additional funding. So I'm looking already at year 4. What do we do to replace the $1 million? We don't have an administrator up there who's going to cry and go, oh, we lost the funding, so we got to do a bunch of layoffs. That's what I'm here for. Yell at me all you want, berate me all you want, covet my hairstyle all you want. I'm up here to run these people and do a good job doing it, okay? If you send me emails, I read them. If you send me an email threatening legal action, I give it to an attorney, duh. But I do hear what you're saying. Pam, here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you. Administrators, listen. We've already talked about this. These theoreticals about the high-speed rail, that they're going to cause mental illness, they do. You're looking at it. But the stuff, I'm not talking about my well going dry and then trying to pump the county. You just ran a big water line by the end of Red Rover, so I'm going to go in there and cry and say, oh, blah, 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 so run free water to my house. A lawyer will do that for us, won't they, Pam? Thank you, and Jackie. But at the end of the day, what I'm concerned about is water interruption at Aadusd. It's on a well, right? I'm talking about vibration at the high school. I'm talking about noise, and I'm talking about them daylighting mining tailings up into where all our kids breathe on. It's my understanding that the superintendent's office, with a little look by legal, is going to offer a formal series of concerns into that meeting by way of a public document. Okay, are we good with that? Louder. The community doesn't hear you. We need a hearing test.
Yeah.
Good. And that will happen on Tuesday the 18th at the public hearing. It has to. Those concerns exist separately from the myriad of concerns Jackie has. I don't even know what she's talking about half the time, but I know she's right. Okay. This facilitated IEP stuff. Y'all know Tammy was at Meadowlark for 80 years, right? She finally moved to the high school. An IEP meeting that's a change of placement, a huge placement like that. The room was full of every team member. Mika, great job. The psychologist, the therapist, they were there to help me and get me through it. But everybody on that team was completely engaged and competent. And we were able to have a real discussion about, my child is going through a transition. I can't talk about this with any other kid. If I do, I'm violating federal and state law. But my child, I'm the education rights holder. We were able to have a discussion about what is going to trigger this child into having behaviors that are disruptive, that will affect the other children or the safety of the staff. And we have honest, open discussions, and everybody is looking at me like, well, you're the school board member, so when you hear me ask tonight about the warrant register and say, is this, watch out, is this service for one child in one room? I hate that. That means we've completely dropped the ball. Or is it for a child that's attending? Where's my class? Somebody's supposed to be babysitting up here. Okay, I got this in the mail. Dear Mr. Falls, you have some cursory, nicey thing that you find the Hallmark card that I should say to my mother-in-law more often. And then it says, I hope, if you are not aware, I want to let you know that we are currently going through a leadership change at, I won't mention the school, it's a charter school, and that one founder is not with us anymore, and the other one will be resigning next week. But I want you to know that everything is fine. Signed, Director of Development for some agency, I don't even know who they are. So we're going to talk about the district charter policy tonight, and I'm going to talk about what that means in terms of things like material revisions and what this district is about and all that kind of thing. So if you want to see me get really rowdy, hang out. What else do I have? I think that's it. Pam, thank you. Jackie, thank you. Mr. Jackie, keep her moving. Brianna.
I do also want to start off by saying thank you to Pam and Jackie. Jackie, I know everything that you are, I should say I don't know everything that you are doing. From what I do know of what you're doing, I don't know how you do it all. Pam, same to you, I don't know how you do it all, but I see the things that you are getting done for our community, and Jackie for our baseball fields, and thank you. Thank you for going the extra 100 miles. Yeah, you are definitely making a difference for kids in our community, and not just kids in our community, but kids in surrounding communities that also take advantage of our beautiful ball fields. So thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Emily, thank you again for being here. I really appreciate your report. I appreciate that you take the time before meetings to gather the information from all of the schools and report back as an entire district student representative. That's very much appreciated. I will be at the field trip tomorrow with my school, but I'm absolutely planning on wearing this shirt on a field trip with my school. So whatever students from Vasquez are going, there will be other purple out there too. And thank you for this. I can't wait to wear it. This is what embodies our district. Small town, big pride. And it is Mustang Nation, but it's also Actonagorosi, and that's what we're all about. So we do have big pride in our schools. So thank you very much. Brody, I don't think I've ever been to a basketball game at Vasquez, but I'm going to try my hardest. I don't know if I'll be at the November 15th one because that's Carter's birthday, but I will make as many games as I can. I can't wait to watch you play. I can't wait to watch your senior season. So thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting us. And I've been able to watch you grow up, and you are such an awesome young man. So thank you for just being Brody Villasenor. I was able to attend all of the volleyball games that were at our beautiful Vasquez gym. It's always a treat to go there, and I feel so much pride when we get to walk in and all of the schools in the valley, including California City, Challenger, Night Prep, Soar Prep, High Desert, to watch all of the teams in there sharing the gym, and watching that junior high volleyball is really exciting. I know I've said it before, but that's the place to be. Those volleyball games are seriously exciting. So congratulations to both High Desert boys and girls volleyball for going undefeated the whole season. That is huge. I'm loving what's happening at High Desert with their sports. I learned at that volleyball championship that High Desert not only has the 5 sports that we have had, we are also, I believe, is it public knowledge about? Okay, so I believe we're starting flag football, and then I also saw their pep squad that was started by the Booster Club president, and they are so fun to watch, and that really gets the kids that are not ready to play the sport, but want to cheer on their team and want to be there and support. They were so loud and they were so cute. I'm actually trying to copy High Desert out at the school that I work at. So when our school shows up with a pep squad, that's going to be because of High Desert and because of High Desert's Booster Club, and how awesome those kids were in all of their green with their crazy green pom-poms. So you are a school to watch. So that was very exciting side of meetings. So the board said, if it's not said in an open meeting, it's probably not the board that's saying it, or that's implementing it, or that's giving a directive. That's not the board's job to give directives to parents, to students, or to staff. That's not our job. So if somebody's telling you the board said, the board didn't say. So it's okay to say, no, the board didn't say, or it's okay to walk away and be like, I know the board didn't say that. Somewhere along the way, it's getting that the board said it. The board is not saying that we need to cancel certain events. The board is not saying, I won't even bring everything up, but you know what I'm talking about. This next thing I've been thinking all night since public comments, should I even say this? And I probably shouldn't. But if I had a GoPro and a YouTube channel, this is when I would turn it on. This is my comments that I made at a February board meeting in 2021. It was virtual. I believe I was in Texas visiting my cousin. This was talking about layoffs. I was not a board member. I was an employee, and several of our employees were laid off. Counselor, librarians, aides, our campus security guard. In here it says, dang it, I shouldn't have moved it because I had it. It says something like, I don't know any high school, any school that's going to operate without a security guard. We need a security guard on our campus. It's not because of comments today. It's not because of any event that has happened directly at our school, because we are a school. Our kids are our most precious commodity, and we need to keep them safe, and we need somebody there to keep them safe. This is not anything recent, a feeling recent that I've had. This is feelings that are years old. I still have the same feeling about our librarians, our security guards, our staff on campuses. We need those people in our campus. We need those people supporting our students. We need those people supporting our other staff members. So I just wanted to share my feelings on the subject. As far as the SOAR program, it looks like all of the metal art, most of the metal art teachers have left, but they're all back there. So when I was in school, when I was in elementary school, I can think back and remember sitting in a classroom wondering how everybody knew what to do. How did they know? Like, oh, they're all putting their books away. How do they know that? Oh, how do they? I saw them doing the project where you take the clay and you build the California and you make the mountain ranges and all that. I know they still do that. My kids have done it. I remember sitting there doing that, and I was like, I don't know. And I just patted the clay and made some stuff, and that was that, because I had no clue what was going on in the classroom. I remember that I had to sit in this room all by myself. There was probably a librarian in here, because I can't imagine that they would put me in here by myself, but this was the library, and I had to sit in this room by myself and read by myself because I was behind. And I remember looking at the book going, why am I reading this? What am I? And I was just turning pages so that it looked like I was reading. And I was just sitting there, not reading a thing, turning pages. And then I would have to go in these classrooms. Do you guys know what these classrooms were? I was in 4th grade, and I'd have to go sit in the kindergarten class because I was naughty. Then I'd have to go in there, that was Mrs. Gonder's office, and I was naughty because I wouldn't read, and I'd have to go sit in the principal's office. And then I was benched at lunch. And I'd sit with my bus driver because she was the benching lady. We'd actually have to sit out on the kindergarten playground out here, and I sat with her, and she'd be like, Brianna, I know you're smart, why aren't you doing your work? Like, I don't know what work to do. I don't know what I'm doing here. That said, if I had had a Mrs. Palacios when I was here at Acton School, and if we had programs like this when I was here at Acton School, I probably wouldn't have had to do 4th grade 2 times. That said, we're here for all children. This board and this district and these teachers and everybody, we're here for all children. I cannot imagine what it's like to sit in a 5th grade class right now. I can't. Can't imagine what it would be like to have my kids sit in a 5th grade class right now. So we are here for all children. My hope and I want to say demands, and that's the wrong word, but that's how I feel, is that we get our 5th grade to where it needs to be as fast as it needs to be and keep our SOAR program do what we need to do in 5th grade and as quickly as we can bring our SOAR program back to what it's doing, because she is doing amazing things and Meadowlark is doing amazing things. And if everybody had what Meadowlark has with their SOAR program, we wouldn't be where we are with the 5th grade classes. So we need to spread out the incredible things that is Mrs. Palacios and get our 5th graders on track and back where we need them to be, and then come back and continue our amazing work at Meadowlark, because we're here for all kids, all of them. I think that's it. Yeah. I'm done.
Okay, Alexa, first for you, congratulations again. We're looking forward to get back. What time school start on Saturday? Make sure she gets a notice that her class starts at like 7:40 or something. Okay, the 17th, okay, fine, good. Amy, I owe you an apology. I said I did it again. Emily, I owe you an apology. I called you Amy before and I just did it again. And my apologies for that. I'm gonna write it on my minute notes so that I don't forget that. I apologize for that. But great reporting, and I really appreciate that. One thing is make sure you turn your mic on so that everybody on Zoom can hear you too and speak into the mic, because we want everybody to hear your great reporting. I really appreciate it. Thanks. All right, I'm going to move down my little list. I've been making notes as we go on, and I'm going to move on to good news first. All right, so today I was prepping to come to the meeting today, and I got a letter from LACO, and it was addressed to me as board president, and it has to do with the exceptional work of our Mr. Hassan Mirza and his financial staff with the direction of our district staff. And it says, pursuant to Education Ed Code sections 1240B and 42100, the Los Angeles County Superintendent of Schools has completed our review of Acton-Aguadulce Unified School District unaudited actuals for fiscal year 21-22, and the financial information has been forwarded to the California Department of Education. We wish to express our appreciation to the district staff for their cooperation during our review of the district's unaudited actuals for fiscal year 21-22. And if there should be any further assistance, to contact them. Signed, Ms. Hoyt Yee. And it's copied to Dr. Zahaki and Mr. Mirza. And this is another key element about our district, under the direction of Mr. Business Office with Mr. Mirza, that his staff, everyone is working, and the county knows that the directions and some of the decisions that we make, along with what Mr. Falsgraf said about being accountable for what we do and looking 3 years out to the future to protect our students, to protect our programs, that a lot of this behind the scenes stuff is a lot of arduous work. And so, Mr. Mirza, congratulations and thank you again for your staff, and make sure you pass it on to them for doing that good work with LACO. All right, now, with the discussions about the 5th grade class, the gentleman to my right here, Dr. Sahakian, and I have spoken on multiple occasions, and I have interacted with him from my experience as a teacher and my dean of students when I helped with teacher assignments. And all of the questions and concerns that were expressed to here by the teachers, by the parents, and by the students are totally valid. Absolutely without a doubt. And every board member here listens and hears what you say. When I'm sitting here talking, you have the cards here, I'm taking notes as you bring things to my attention. Sometimes I've heard this before and I'm aware of it, but some things are new, and I'm writing them down, and I pass them immediately to my right to Dr. Zahakian, because he knows that we're going to talk about this again, about what we're doing, how we're moving forward, how we're trying to address the unique things that we have. I've said in the past that our district is not unique, but we are special. We have the same challenges as every other district in the state of California. Every district, and I look through the PAR report, we have 4 open positions that we've been advertising to try to get somebody to fill at the middle school. We have 2 at the high school. We are competing for qualified credentialed teachers just like all the other districts. We have challenges to get it. People can't afford to live here. They don't want to commute to the distance that it takes you. All of these things come into play. But once they get here and they realize how special our district is, the wonderful children that we have, all of the things that are available to a teacher, and I speak from experience, I came here in 2000 and I stayed for 18 years. I looked twice in that 18 years for another site just to see what was out there. And no, I'm not going. I'm staying right here. I enjoyed my colleagues. I enjoyed the organization. I enjoyed the school. I enjoyed my students and the parent support that I had as a teacher. Echoing what Ms. Jensen said about what my parents, I enjoyed tons of support, and I know our teachers get a lot of support from their parents. We are going through some extraordinary times, and I say it again, we don't, like Brianna said, we don't really direct anything. We talk to this gentleman here and we pass on, and then they come to us when there's something that they want an approval, and I'd like to try this, I'd like to do that. But 80% of it is the creativity and the knowledge that you've brought to the district, the grants, the creative, the new programs, the things that he's trying to do for our staff. It takes time. We can't ice the cake yet because it's not in the oven. We're still mixing it. And we're working hard to do that. We've asked for patience from our parents during COVID. We've asked for patience from our staff during the COVID. The students have the hardest time adjusting with patience because students don't have it. They want to do everything right now, and you as parents and we as adults know that. So when I hear comments and I hear things about, I hope that you're hearing us, I can guarantee you without a doubt that we hear what you say. And I appreciate what you say. I listen to what it is, I take notes, and I sit there and I go back and I think about it to myself. I prepare my notes so that I can get in the queue with the superintendent as board president and get in there and have an opportunity to talk with him about some concerns that I heard, clarifications, I ask questions, he provides me responses, and I either say, oh, yeah, is that all you can do? Or, hey, good job, okay, keep it up. The one term that I use consistently with Dr. Sahakian is I tell him, steady ahead. Keep working at what you're doing, because I know he's making progress. However incremental it may appear to some people, to staff, parents, and primarily to our students, because that's our charge, they're our responsibility. The frustrating delays and the agencies and the connections and all the things that we have to do, it's not a private enterprise where we can go out and change a vendor overnight. We just can't do that. The law doesn't allow it. We have to go through the process and go through this. So expediting that shortcut, trying to cut through that bureaucracy is a fundamental challenge, and most of the adults in the room understand bureaucracy. Now, when you're talking about education bureaucracy, put double on top of that, because there's people in Sacramento who are trying to tell us what to do here. And they don't know us. Just like when Pam comes in and talks about the high-speed rail. They say, oh, we're just going to put it right down here. Well, no, you're going right next to our high school. We spoke up on Saturday. We said, well, hold on a second. You're going to put an above-ground work site right next to our high school? Well, hold on. So we're addressing that, and we're preparing that to put it on the record that we have responsibility for the schools in this community and the students that attend those schools. The activities. We're not going to cut back on our outdoor activities because there's wind and dust generated by this construction site. They're going to have to adjust to us in some regards if whatever happens, happens. But that's years away, but we still have to address it today. So that's the same concept that we have with billing staff. We can't walk down and go down the lake and say, I need 2 teachers, 1 5th grade, 1 6th, and have them fill the menu and they give it to us. It doesn't work that way. We have to compete time and again with people around us. Santa Clarita districts, Antelope Valley districts, everywhere. The one question that I have broached with Dr. Zahakian is about recruitment. I know that we do Agile. Okay, we do Agile. And I go, what else are we doing? Who else is doing it? Who's doing the recruiting? Who's out there recruiting for us? Are our site administrators talking, networking with their colleagues around the state, around the county? Hey, I got an open position. Do you know anybody? We've got to keep communicating in that regard. had the privilege of working part-time as a part-time faculty for Cal State Bakersfield, and I coordinate and supervise potential teachers. Every day they hear from me, but hey, when you get your credential, I want you to drive about 15 miles south. There's a little school on the left there. I recruit them, the good ones, because I have a couple of candidates that have some work to do. I want them to get their work done before they come here, but I've even mentioned to Dr. Zahakian, what are we doing? What are our staff doing to recruit teachers? Send them on a junket to Stockton and rob some people from Stockton. Let them move down here. Go to someplace else and have them move down, or go to San Ynez where my brother lives. I recruit while I'm over there having dinner. Oh, you're a teacher. Where are you working at? Oh, you're at San Ynez High School. Why don't you come over and work for us? And they think I'm joking, and they realize I'm serious. I recruit all the time. And these are the same things that people in leadership positions in our district can do at the toss of a coin. Our site administrators, our superintendent. I know they do it, but I've encouraged them to do it more. So the frustration of not getting this fifth grade teacher position filled is frustrating to everybody. I know it's frustrating to the board members, but particularly to Ms. Jensen, who's an educator and an administrator in Palmdale. It's frustrating as heck to me because I worked my entire teaching career in this district at best as high school. So we're working diligently to get this filled. Now, when you have vacancies and there's requirements that we have to meet, like the Williams report that we have to do, and those are things that we agree to, those are part of the rules that we decide that we're going to do, we need to make adjustments. I got called from my class to cover another class frequently during my 18 years. Sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't. But then I finally figured out that, you know what, I told my students, hey, I'm not going to be here today because I'm going over here to cover that class. But I let them know why I was going there so that they weren't fear. I was coming back. I might be gone for a day, or I might have to cover a class for 3 days until they got a sub in, but I would come back. But I got all my work for the class, so it continued. I, like many of my colleagues in this district, because we have some exceptional teachers in this district. We have some teachers that are still growing to be really good teachers. We have some toys, like Miss Alette, that I didn't want substitutes in my classroom. No. Who are you sending to my, no, forget it. I'll cancel my doctor's appointment and I'll stay in the class. My students, please, however you want to dialogue it to whatever level, grade level that we're talking to, I get to go over here and help them out and I'll be back. As a team, as a joint group effort to get this done quickly. He knows because I've personally told him, we need to get this resolved. We need to get that hired, whatever. I said, can we hire emergency credential? Can we do this? Can we do this? I'm thinking, where do all these things go? And unfortunately, it's the acronym CCTC. California Commission on Teacher Credentialing has a months-long backlog due to COVID and other issues to clear people to work. We don't have any control over that. So what do we do besides that? Well, we got to work. Can we get a sub in here? Can we get a credible long-term sub? We've tried that, haven't been successful. So we go in-house. I specifically asked Dr. Zahakian last week, and I said, well, then our admin's got to get out of their office and go in the classroom. It's their site. They help cover. They're part of the recovery program, not just the teachers. They were teachers. And I thought when I was dean of students, I covered classes several times. We couldn't get us, okay, I'll take it. I stayed late to finish my admin work after I finished the classroom work. That's all about coming together. And that's the special part about this district. We are small enough that we can do that without sacrificing with any permanent damage to programs that we have, like SOAR and reading, at the early stages of our kids coming into our district. We all need to pull our belts a little tighter and get through this element. There is no disrespect from anybody on this school board or in this district office going out to our certificated staff. If I hear, see, or come convinced of that, I'm going to be the first one booting them out the door. I appreciate wholeheartedly the hard work that teachers do. Did it for 18 years. During that 18 years, I coached 3 sports and was athletic director, and I was ASB advisor. I went home at 9 o'clock at night almost every day. It's part of the job. It's what I signed up for to do. I wasn't doing it to get rich. I was doing it because I was making an impact on the students that I had contact with. And I know that's what our elementary teachers at Meadowlark are doing. They are exceptional teachers. Exceptional beyond a doubt. But we're asking for assistance. I can't say, well, no, I'm not going because you're on the wrong. We're in this together because it's not about us adults in the room, it's about the children in the classroom. So, rest assured, please, as best you can, we are working diligently to get this 5th grade position resolved with a good teacher. Yeah, we've had turnovers like crazy here. We've had principal. I had multiple principals. I kept like, what the heck is going on? People come to Vasquez, come to Meadowlark, come to High Desert, come to this small community from a big district, from a big community where they had 3 assistants and all, and they come here, oh, no, you're by yourself. You got to do it all. Hold on. Okay. They're just not ready for our rural community, our special community. So that takes time for them to acclimate, get ready. We're doing our best to recruit. We're doing our best to talk to people. And we're working hard at that. So I, along with every board member here, Dr. Zahakian, Kim Shaw, Mr. Hassan Mirza, we all respect our teachers. When I hear people, not respecting, I don't like that because that's not true. If I don't like you, that's one thing, but I respect you because I understand what you're required and what we're asking you to do in the teacher, in the classroom for our students. So respect is never in doubt. When we have tough decisions to make, we make them, and that's really frustrating. Comments back. People say, well, you don't respond to us. Well, during public comments, that's precisely what the Brown Act says. We are here to listen, not to talk back. We're here to listen to what you say, take notes, put it in our head, and then we talk about it when we talk about it with the superintendent. I can't come out and talk to you about that. Oh, man, I'd love to. And when I get off of here, I can, but I can't. That's part of the commitment that I made to be representing the district in the Brown Act, is that our students have confidentiality rights, our parents have rights, and our employees have rights. And we have to balance all of that. We are not able to comment back on many, many things that we would love to talk to you about, but we can't. We have to respect those rights of confidentiality and privacy. So rest assured that we are hearing every word that you're saying. And you can tell it to me every board meeting, and I take notes, and if it's something new that I've heard, if it's something that I've heard before, I write it and I underline it. Well, that's a repeat. This gentleman to my right hears it from me. I talk to him multiple times throughout the week. As busy as he is, I still have to wait. Text, telephone, and getting past his guard outside, Miss McCauley, that I kind of try to sneak in the back door. And then once I get, I only need about 20 minutes, and an hour later, I'm walking out the door, because once you get your hands on the, got to hang on to it until you get everything resolved. Bodie, white t-shirt. So you're telling me I can wear my 2006 basketball white t-shirt, right? Okay, man. So that's exciting to hear. I know that you boys have been working hard up there in the program, and so that's really good, exciting news. I'm going to have to bring my pad and see I'm getting all I can. I'm a coach. I usually walk up and down the sideline. When I got to sit, I don't sit still very long. So anyway, congratulations. I'll see you at La Campagna, and then I'll see you on that white t-shirt there. And lastly, District Superintendent Dr. Zahakian has been working overtime to do the best he can to resolve the issues that he inherited, that happened during his tenure, to resolve them as best he can. I have the highest regard for his work ethic. I sometimes tell him no. You know, he's trying to be nice. Okay, you got to stop being nice sometimes to some of these agencies and these people from outside that are trying to tell our community how to do things. he has the focus of our students, parents, employees, and he's doing his best. And the results are showing with the new programs that he's introduced to the program. He's got through the grants that he's coordinating with and the things that he's doing. His plate is full. And one last comparison from his predecessor of 2 times ago, when I was at a president, I went into the superintendent's office and I walked in and had a private meeting with him, and his desk looked like it was a showroom model. There was not a piece of paper on the desk. That was the superintendent's mode of operandi. Well, it's all in his head. If you have the occasion to visit Dr. Sahakian's office, he's got them lined down here, all these things that are in process. It's not 1 or 2, it might be multiple. Trying to organize and keep everything abreast, plus everything that's happening on a daily basis. So, Dr. Sahakian, I charge you to continue to steady ahead and keep working and doing the diligent part that you do for our district. Thank you. Item 9A, consent agenda. The consent agenda includes items 9B, C, D, E, and F. I'll read those out for you. 9B is the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 25th, 2022. 9C is the regular board meeting minutes from September 27th, 2022. 9D is the warrant register. 9E is a universal gift form, stage and studio lights in the value of $2,000. And 9F is a universal gift form donation of 30 backpacks and school supplies, approximate value $1,500. Do I have a motion to consider?
Kelly Johnson, so moved.
Kelly?
I'll second.
Brianna will second. Okay. Dr. Sahakian. Dr. Sahakian first.
For universal gift form,
Yes.
stage and studio lights, item E. I want to go ahead and just make a comment. Thank you to our interim arts TOSA, Ms. Carrie Owens at Vasquez. We thank you for your due diligence and wearing multiple hats. This was a donation, a gift to Vasquez from Mr. Greg Smith, $2,000 stage lights for Vasquez High School for future musical productions. So thank you for that donation. In addition, want to thank item F, Universal Gift Form, for the 30 backpacks. Thank you once again, Salvation Army of Lancaster, for the generous donation of the backpacks. Thank you, Ms. Chelsea Humphrey, Jeff Collins, and community member and former parent, Ms. Tammy Crawford.
Board member discussion?
No, just thank you for the donations, and once again, thank you for partnering, because I know that lots of times our community gets forgotten when it's things like free backpacks. So that's a big deal, because the Antelope Valley has such a high need. So there you go again. Thank you for reaching out.
President, I want to pull a warrant register off the consent calendar and vote on it separately after discussion.
Okay.
The donations are awesome. It's always much appreciated. So thank you for the donation.
I only have a couple of things. The studio lights, I know that I talked to Miss Owens. She was a teacher right next to mine for many years, and I kept banging on the, okay, hold it down. She was getting so excited with her English class and the literature and all the plays that she didn't have a stage. Now she's helping us do play production at the high school, and I look forward to this. Lights is going to be awesome. That she has an indoor stage and an outdoor stage. So I remember Miss Roberts was, when we were at the old campus, and she was on the ROP program, and we were building stages out on the kids. The kids are going to have a great time doing some actual play production along with some other things of arts and things. That's really great. The backpacks, do you have an opportunity when we'll be able to distribute those to the students?
Yes, my office is working on that, reaching out to the school sites, and based on need, we'll make it as discreet as possible, but identifying students that would have some huge benefit from the school supplies and backpacks. Thank you.
Okay, and then my last comment is on the, that's separate. Can't do that yet. All right, so we pulled the warrant register, and we'll be voting on
When someone puts, like, you know, when they say OMG is oh my God, what is
9D.
IMHO?
Colon D. So we're voting on the consent calendar for items B, C, E, and F. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul Giap, aye.
Brianna Tucker.
IMHO,
Tim
I
Jorgensen,
don't
aye.
know.
Motion carries 4-0. Okay.
How do I
Item
look it up?
9D.
Oh,
warrant
on Google?
register, Dr. Sahakian. Motion to consider, sorry.
So moved.
Kelly? I'll second. Dr. Sahakian. I believe there's a question regarding the warrant register.
IMHO, in my honest opinion.
Oh, in my
You have it up on the
humble
screen.
opinion.
Let's go to page
Okay.
3. American National Tour Group. Go to the next page, Antelope Valley Airport Express. Those appear to be buses that transport athletic students. Let's clear something up. The buses that are on order, how long have they been on order?
Since last year.
So my understanding is there's a supply chain issue where the bus chassis are done from the manufacturer, but you're having a hard time getting someone to put the bus part on the wheels that run. So does everybody understand that? The buses have been ordered. You have the money budgeted. Leko just told you you're wonderful to the point where syrupy sick. So you have the money to buy the buses when they get here.
Yes.
So do you have the ability to go to Detroit or wherever they make them now and rough them people up? But you are budgeting money to make sure that the athletes get to their sites apparently. Good. Let's go to page 6. The lawyer. You notice there's 2 categories here, public. Pay attention very carefully. I'm dropping crumbs. I already know, but I can't tell you. There's 2 sections. One says something about SPED. I don't like those numbers. But sometimes you have to have lawyers involved to get people, because they won't go to the training for the facilitated IEP meeting and how to do that. So we try to have lawyers take our money. The next one is the one that concerns me. This is the superintendent's office expenditure. Wonder what that's all about. I can't tell you. Watch that number. If you sue me, I might have to tell you. Go to page 12, Department of Justice. That's not a due process filing fee, is it? Good, because when you see one of those, there's usually 125,000 or 250,000 later on. And my left wrist tore up from the floor up, and I don't know why. Okay, let's go to page 19. There are quite a few, and I don't want to call this one out particularly, but if you go through, there's a number of different names that we don't know that are receiving SPED mileage payouts. We know that a parent has the opportunity to transport their own child, and please tell me that these arrangements are documented in an IEP that's signed and on file in the district office. Good. Page 22, Southwest Carpenters Training Fund. That appears to be half the payment of the annual fee to get the Carpenters Union CTE program going. So they've been paid, so I imagine that's ready to go. Thank you, Dr. Sahakian. Okay, go to the last page here. If my math is right, this warrant register represents approximately $1.2 million, and it's for a period of how long? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So if my math serves me right, this district has, what, 26 of these? So how many lawsuits can you handle before your reserve is ate up? Look at this number. Every 2 weeks, some every 2 week period, sometimes it's more, sometimes less. You have $1.2 million of cash flow going out of this district. Yeah.
a lot of money every week, especially when you compare it to the annual budget. Okay, thank you for being thorough. I like to make sure the public understands where the money's at. I'm done.
Mr. Mirza, did you have anything, Graham? Can we do like my grandpa did in the back days when he bought a new car? He just went to Detroit, picked it up and drove it home. We'll just go to pick up the bus right from the manufacturer. We'll drive it. They don't have to deliver it. We'll put our school name on the side of it. Come on, let's think outside the box. All right, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Falls, you have aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-0. All right, moving on to number 10A, Personnel Action Report. Motion to consider.
So moved.
I'll second.
Kelly. Brianna. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. We don't have any addendums to the PAR report as published on our website.
Board member discussion.
Just that there is a resignation for 5th grade, which I know everybody's looking at. And so thank you for following up with your report about how you're going to handle that next week. Thank you.
Melissa Trussell, you've been an excellent teacher. You have been among the
Public hearing 9:57. The public hearing must be held within 8 weeks of the start of the school. Education Code Section 60119 requires local governing boards to hold an annual public hearing and adopt a resolution stating whether each pupil in the district has sufficient textbooks or instructional materials in specified subjects. The instructional materials must be aligned to the academic content standards under Education Code 60605 and 60605.8 and consistent with the content and cycles of the curriculum framework adopted by the State Board of Education. The local education agency, LEA, adopted resolution shall certify compliance with Ed Code 61109. The California Department of Education, CDE, has provided suggestive language in the attached document, suggested resolution on sufficiency of instructional materials. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. I'm going to defer to Ms. Kimberly Shaw, Assistant Superintendent for Ed Services, if she has any comments at this time.
My apologies. We have sufficient materials at this time. All students in the district have sufficient materials at this time.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to close this hearing at 10 o'clock. Business Services, 12A, School Mint Professional Development. Motion to consider.
I'll move.
Ken.
I'll second.
Who was that, Brianna?
Brianna.
Brianna. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. Back in spring, we did have a contract with School Mint to provide an audit assessment of our customer service to our parent community. The assessment was conducted not only at our school sites, but at the district office as well. Based on that, we are looking to move forward with a contract and the budget source out of ESSER 3 funding to provide professional development on customer care and customer service, which could include things such as how to heighten certain things that we already do well, such as our school tours, video tours for potential parents. What are we looking at to enhance in terms of our customer care, timely feedback, timely response time for our parent community and so forth. So this will provide a professional opportunity, professional development opportunity for those that are interfacing with our community and our public on a daily basis, including the DO. Thank you.
Board member discussion. Coming down to me. This is one of the items that turns into a get-to. In other words, I don't have to do all this stuff. I don't have to talk to disgruntled parents when they come to the front of the office or when they come to the front of the district. We up the game, said, I get to do that. I'll handle it. I get to do that. That's public service, that's community service, that's legitimate service, responding, listening to what our students and our parents are saying. Enroll hand services agreement, motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Kelly. I'll second. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. Enroll-hand is part of the school mint umbrella. This service agreement proposal and budget source will come out of ESSER 3 if approved this evening. As part of our marketing and branding efforts for the district as a whole, this will provide additional support, services, technical experience, technical lens by the school mint representatives to provide us here at the district office who are tasked with branding and marketing, which includes me, IT, Ms. McCauley, and I have to confess, I've been a public educator for 29 years. I don't have a marketing degree. And we're all doing the best that we possibly can, and we've made some great strides in the past school year with the signature programs and our website and our online enrollment feature. So we've moved the needle. However, this component will actually push us a step further with the marketing and branding for the district with a professional lens and expertise in terms of professional development. Thank you.
Board member discussion?
All I have to say is that I think this is great because I think we really just want to highlight the great programs that we have as well. So this is an opportunity to highlight the social media and just make it very professional looking, correct?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Jensen, for that. And I do apologize to the community. I didn't mention the whole social media piece and how to enhance that and make it more prominent for our community and for those prospective parents outside the community.
So I think that will help with some of the, communication as well in a different way using social media, correct? Thank you.
I just want to clarify capitalize on what Ms. Jensen said. Is this a social media for our parents and future parents? In pecking order. Our parents come first.
Absolutely.
New parents, prospective parents. Yeah, you can join the poll, but guess what? This is the unique group of people that you get to be a part of. So we want to make sure that our current parents, they get the first look, first touch, first this, first that, and then we, at the same time, we blend that to offer to other qualified, highly sought after parents and community members that want to come and get a great education. So yeah. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Scott, aye.
Brianna Tectoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. The motion carries 4-0. 12C, act on Aadusd Unified School District Charter Policy. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Kelly.
I'll second.
Brianna. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. For the charter policy, we had our first read at our September meeting. Red line versions were provided in terms of identifying what changes are being recommended by the state for the charter policy revision. If there are any questions, we do have our Director of Charter Services online, Ms. Pattison, if there are any questions by the board for this item. Thank you.
I have a couple of things. So after we approve the policy, is it shared with our charters? Are they familiar with all the redlining? Because there's quite a few of them.
Yes, they are, and I will defer to Ms. Pattison to go ahead and confirm my response. Alex? Thank you.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Sahakian. This is Ms. Pattison, Director of Charter Services. As soon as the policy is approved, we will actually be sending a copy of that to the state auditor, and we will also send that out to our charters so that they are aware of what our charter policy is. That it has been approved.
Okay, my next question is on page 17. So if there's change in management at a charter, does that warrant a materials revision?
No, it does not. That's change in leadership would not constitute any type of academic change or any change that was previously in their application or their charter. The change in management is simply a change in management unless they are actually changing
academic or financial. It's a lot more than just a head of change.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I take it legal has looked this over.
Yes.
The last meeting, the first reading of this, I asked that the charters be encouraged to come forward and provide any input. Did you receive any input from any charter?
No, I've not received any input from any charter.
Okay, for the benefit of the public, the district did not just do this. This is the state auditor requesting that this is done. And if I'm wrong, somebody jump in. But when Judge Link, Lancelot Link, or whatever his name was, down in San Diego County, made a ruling that this district pay back funds when somebody illegally absconded with $80 million worth of money, the state auditor produced a set of findings that fed the discovery in that case. So what the state auditor does is he doesn't just slap you on the hands, or he or she. He tells you that I want you to update your charter policy every year because I don't trust you yet. Would that be accurate? Yeah.
We have received.
Ms. Patterson, I'll call on you when I need you.
Okay.
This is superintendent level stuff now. This is lawyer level stuff now. But this says that the state auditor wanted these things. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things. And one of them says, the second one says, to ensure compliance with state law, Acton Aadusd Meeting Unified should immediately establish a procedure to periodically review and update its charter school policy to include all of the requirements of state law, of which the 1200 series was changed last year significantly. That's why we're doing this. The state requires that we do it so we don't fall back in the pattern of collecting revenue by way of oversight. There's no reason to do that anymore. I do want to have a discussion at some point about the number of students it actually takes to feed the payroll. I want to know the drop dead number of students in this district it takes to self-fund. And I'm a little bit off track here, but if I save money from my paycheck and put it in a savings account and then suddenly start freaking out and overspend my paycheck and start dipping into my funding, that's called deficit spending. And pretty soon you don't have a bank account. And all them jet skis and dirt bikes that we bought suddenly become very expensive when you're trying to put food in your kid's mouth. So tell me about deficit spending. Does the county trigger on deficit spending? Regardless of how much money in the bank, you're saying this year you do not have the number of kids it takes to self-fund. Would somebody please put that on the agenda? We have a simple report where you tell us, given the number of teachers and campuses and everything that we have, what is the minimum number of students we need to break even. I want to put that issue to bed. Okay. It says on here that to ensure compliance with state law, Acton Aadusd Unified should immediately track its actual costs for providing oversight and verify that its oversight fees do not exceed legal limits. How many times do I have to sit up here during every budget cycle, ask Mr. Mirza, and everybody doesn't get it? He keeps asking the same stupid question. I'm verifying to him, how much revenue do you have off of charters? Zero, because if you have excess revenue off of charters, you are breaking state law. We'll be back in court. Understand that. Here's the one I want to talk about. To better ensure effective oversight of its charter schools finances, not its charter schools, but its charter schools finances, Acton Aadusd Unified should place a district representative as a non-voting member on each charter school's governing board. That means one of us can go sit on the I-Lead board, Agua Dulce. It says that the state is reporting we will not comply with that, will not implement. Why would we not want to implement that? Because as soon as I go over there and say, oh, don't do that, you can't do this, and the next thing you know, somebody does a bonehead move and somebody's suing this district, and even though somebody told you, and I keep saying this over and over, somebody stood up at my candidate forum and promised this community there was no liability for charters, and we are dumped debt that we only know about back there. There's nobody, some people that join us have been talking that about the community pretty soon, and I'm going to show them the numbers, and the chatter will stop. If the charters make a bonehead move and you can't, it's not legal for you to recover lawsuit money. But yeah, we're not doing this. So what I want to ask my board, do any of you want to entertain while we have this opportunity that we should change this where we want to put a member of this board on every charter board that we have? Does anybody want to entertain that?
No.
Tim? Well, I don't either. But let me tell you what. Let me do a local example. I'm not picking on anybody. But the only charters I want to know about are the ones that are servicing our community. And let me tell you about charter law when it happened in the 1990s. Charters were allowed to develop because there was an understanding that there were a number of students that were not being reached by traditional education systems. Might be SPED kids, might be GATE kids. By the way, people, wake up. SPED kids and gifted kids, they're on the same end of the scale. You give either one of them money, you're the bad guy. None of them get what they need. Sorry. But they developed charter schools, allowed charter schools to develop in hopes that they would reach some of these kids that weren't being reached, and that the advancements that they made in reaching those kids would permeate into the greater educational environment and be create for substantial increases in how we educate our children. It was not meant to build a career here as a superintendent and collect money while one of your former employee friends went off and built a bunch of charters and then resigned 5 minutes before I come in and run off with all the money. It was not designed for that. Back to this. I want to use our local charter. I don't want to pick on you. I know for a fact, when I was on my charter roll, I ran them out of here a dime a dozen. I got so many, they featured me in the LA Times over being a charter killer. But your charter stood up there. Dawn Iverson stood up there and took every question I had to offer, answered them. And those set of questions became the set of questions that ran a lot of them down the road, and you're still here. But don't take this personally. How many boards would I have to put a member on for her school? You'd think one, right? No, there's 4. Because now there's a organizational structure above it that has private interests and commercial interests and something else. So effectively, if I sat on that board, the decisions those boards could be made, could be overridden by somebody above that. And now all of a sudden, I get a letter from somebody. I was the only one that got this. By the way, when you are a board member, short of legal matters or student matters, your emails are discoverable by the public. Just ask for it. You want it? Call the superintendent's office. I'm doing a records request on the email that Mr. Paulsgraf represented and held up at 10:16 p.m. on October 13th. It's right here. Somebody is telling me that the authorizer, who was the charter school founder, who stood up there and answered my questions, is suddenly disappearing. And the other person, who is I guess the brains behind the education, is now going to resign at the end of the week. And I'm being told that a change in leadership is not grounds for material revision when I've got 3 and 4 layers of something happened before. I came onto this board because there was a set of charters that were dumped into this district's lap. There were orphans from a series of authorizations that were done by LAUSD, and when the political circumstances changed, now all of a sudden they're looking for a home, and this district was looking for money. So they all ended up here. One of those was Valiant, $700 and some thousand out the window. All of it illegal. I'm starting to see some same names from that group of people that walked in here and sold us a consulting contract, starting to pop up in this number. start looking at history. It's repeating itself. I'll decide what is a change in organizational structure, with all due respect. I think we're starting to get really comfortable around here with people. Okay, I want to talk about that now. Substantial changes to the educational program, including a change in major vendors of educational software. It's my understanding that this charter, for example, was dependent on a system of curriculum that was developed in a methodology of instruction. It was built for this system by the developer. It's good that we're all remaining silent. That's a smart move right now. You're in my world now. But all these people are gone suddenly, but I'm being reassured by somebody I don't even know, who is not part of our authorization system, who is not superseding the authority of this board and its authorization, telling me that everything's going to be okay. I'll decide when everything's going to be okay. Opening and closing of a charter or movement of schools' facilities, I'm not worried about that. Changes to admission requirements or preferences, I'm not worried about that. Substantial changes to a governance structure. When I've got the founders and the people that stood up there and made promises to me and kept those promises, when they start disappearing, and we're discounting that as a lack of a governance change, my dictionary says something very different. Back to what I was talking about. So I want to be very clear. Anybody that's representing that they are going to sit on this board and they are also going to go sit on the charter is in error. Well, do my board members agree with me? Do you know of any board member right now that sits on a non-voting position on any charter school? No. Is it your desire to make that happen in the near future?
No.
All right, everybody clear on that? Staff, note that. This page got a lot of notes. I want to talk about specific oversight. It says there's one person, the district charter staffing oversight, page 22. The district maintains a staff position dedicated to charter school oversight, currently titled Director of Charter Schools. These are the promises that this district is making to the state auditor. Position title may vary, but the district will maintain a staff position with primary responsibility of non-financial oversight. That's Shay. But then there's one. Next one. The district's chief business official has primary responsibility for financial oversight of the charter schools. Would you agree that's true? So, my first question is, I would have much rather heard about this news from my own staff. I don't like hearing about things on the street. Take that one to the bank. I know that this district is claimed to have paltry medical benefits, but I do think you can get a hearing test, at least annually. And I would suggest that when I talk, somebody get a hearing test, because I'm very serious about this. But I just happen to pop into charter school hearings every once in a while. I'll fire up my computer and go to their board meetings. I have the right to do that. But when I go to one, and there are 4 different board meetings, and I am hearing them report out that there are financial audits that are 6 months late at each and every one of these multi-layered things. But my chief financial officer, who I'm throwing curveballs 100 miles an hour at him constantly, he never falters. Our superintendent has the ability, in the old days, don't talk about it, I'll talk about it. No, I just ask him anything. We was talking about my salary and what I do and what my benefit package is and what the superintendent's package was in this district at that time. And it boiled down to how much we were spending on legal fees for each student in this district. And it was approaching $500 per student. The ADA at that time was about $6,900. So you're spending about 5% of each student chasing charter schools. So here's the bottom line. What the 1200 series did was the people in Newhall that sued this district and ultimately won down in San Diego. They have somebody that was on the Newhall school board Guess what? You see her name all over the sign. She's going to be your congressman. They went up there and lobbied the state education committee, the legislative education committee, to make these laws, the 1200 series. And one of those laws now is you have to present a different curriculum that's notably different than your authorizer in the boundaries for you to exist. Because if you don't, there's no reason for your charter. Remember what I told you about why charters started. I don't see any cows and cattle in here right now. I guess Christine didn't bring any from her school. But I think there's people, something different going on over there. I don't know. I don't go over there and dog you. I got people that watch what you're doing. That guy with the money. I seem to be presenting a lot of facts tonight. I'll tell you something else. When I asked you to come in here 8 weeks ago, I'm not a friendly person. I want somebody to stand up there and tell me what's going on, because there's been word on the street for a while. And when you don't show up to my birthday party, I start getting offended. Thank you for finally showing up. But I guess we figured out why they didn't show up, didn't we? But at the end of the day, when it comes to a measure of whether your school, your charter school, or your public school is different than the other ones around you, I have a very simple way of looking at things. Do you know what a cum file is? When you change school, you send your cumulative file on your student to another school. So I'm not the smartest person in the room, but at the same time, I'm smart enough to know that if we have a 10% increase in enrollment suddenly, where some people are up there criticizing me for enrollment drops, really, at that microphone, really? We suddenly have a 10% increase. If I'm smart, I'm going to look at them cum files and I'm going to see what the origin is. If the origin is that charter in my own district, that's telling me that parents are starting to look at this and go, there's not much of a difference. I can play football at that one. That's my measure. I'll decide what questions are asked. I'm expecting a material revision out of a few of these charters very soon. But I do not expect to learn this information off the street. I'll tail this in now. When it comes to charters, get back in the old videos. I was sat up here and asked questions. I was accosted by my board members, fellow board members. People stood up there and flat out lied to me. They ended up stealing $80 million. You know what they got for it? House arrest with an ankle bracelet in Newport. How many of y'all live in Newport? I don't guess you're good at stealing money from children then, are you? But at the end of the day, do not get comfortable in your relationships with people. I'm going to ask very hard questions. Very hard questions. And I see changes in governance structure. I see changes in curriculum. I see changes in back of house action. If I'm wrong, come in and tell me I'm wrong. I asked you 8 weeks ago to come in here. You never showed up. Other than that, I love this policy because it lets me ask these kinds of questions. Good job. Shay?
Yes.
Good, there you are. I want to compliment you. You have a huge job. And there seems to be a lot of swinging parts in the background. I want you to know that you're not responsible for financial audits, but I am not all impressed with jumping on and watching somebody say that they're 6 months behind in an audit. That doesn't fall in your lap. That falls in this lap. But somebody's got to tell us that. Because when the money starts getting weird, I don't care what the reason was. I don't care if it was COVID. When I go to the check, I want to get my money out. So I don't know what the reason is. Incompetence is the reason. That's the only reason I know. Am I clear? I'll expect somebody from ILE to be in here pretty soon. That submission thing that they read every time there's no submission. When I started, there were 2 or 3 a week. Those are charter submissions. I'm going to expect somebody to do a material revision, or at least come in here and stand up in front of me with a lawyer and tell me why I'm wrong.
Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls paragraph I. I want to make sure that everybody understands we are not putting board members on any charter. And whoever comes up on this board will not serve on any charter, so let's get that out of the way. Aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Ken Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-0. 12D, Hop Skip Drive contract with Akron Agua Unified School District. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
I'll second. Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. As an LEA school district, we're required to provide transportation to our most vulnerable populations, one of our most vulnerable populations, which includes foster youth and students experiencing homelessness, if they choose to seek transportation to their school of choice. Hop Skip Drive is an option that has been provided to school districts, and this is a contract for transportation for students in need, and it's pay as you go.
Board member discussion.
A couple of things. It's sort of like Uber, right? Sort of?
Yes.
Okay, but I want everyone to understand you said something and I don't want it to be missed. The law requires if someone has homelessness, they get to go to the school they want. Because I don't want that to be misconstrued that you're trying to go ahead and up the ADA and go and find students. That it's of the law, and we welcome those students, and we will service those students because they deserve to be educated. And I just didn't want anyone to miss that when you said that, because I think some people might take that the wrong way. So thank you.
To support Callie's observation, the first charter that this district authorized, was a bunch of inmate population down in Los Angeles. Easy money, right? You got a prison over there, Christine? Okay, good. So, let me ask you this. Let's say that I'm a child that's been parented poorly, and I attack another student, and I am expelled. Who is responsible for the child's educational costs while they are expelled? And what's the other word? Yeah, you get expelled and you get suspended. So let's say I'm suspended for 2 years, and I end up in, I don't know, Yellen Academy because I hurt people or hurt myself. Who pays for that? Who pays for the child's educational costs?
If you're on an expulsion order for an academic calendar, and that's typically an academic calendar, not suspension, but an expulsion order, it's the cost of the school district.
So did you hear that? If I go out and attack somebody tomorrow and get put in prison, the district pays for my education while I am in prison. Understand that? Did everybody know that? Yeah. Next question. Can we stop someone from applying to come to our school?
No.
Can you, in considering an application, ask for any criminal files or anything that they have?
No.
While they're not your student?
No.
Again, one more time. I want to know what the drop dead number is on how many kids this district has enrolled of its own to float. And once I know that number, I'm going to tell everybody to get busy because we don't got enough kids in this town.
I currently work at Virtual Academies, which services 7th through 12th grade. We're currently getting enrollments and drops due to COVID and whatever. In the last couple weeks, I've gotten 2 students that are homeless students that cannot get to school. Their absences were so bad. The community attendance worker was visiting their house. There was threats to get social services involved, all that stuff. So that student was withdrawn from their school and they enrolled in virtual because they simply couldn't get to school. So now, because that student is homeless or because that student doesn't have transportation, now they can't even attend school on a site. They're just sitting at home. And I'm not saying anything about these students, but we have no idea what the home life looks like. None at all. So now we place these students at home. We're giving them the best education that we can virtually because our virtual program is quite awesome, but it's not where that student wants to be. They want to be at school with their friends. They just can't get there. This program is really exciting because I see the other side of it. So that's all I have to say.
You and Dr. Zuck, you and I had a question about this, and like what Ms. Jensen said, this is like a upgraded Uber or Lyft that has built-in safeguards to be transporting minors and all kinds of things that are responsible and looking through their drivers. But there was one question I had with you, and that's about eligibility for students to have this. In other words, there was a concern that, oh, well, we offer this, you can come to our school. Isn't there some kind of a grace period before they become eligible for this service in the district?
So there is eligibility. Again, vulnerable populations could include foster youth, homeless youth. For instance, if there's a foster student who attended our school last year, there was a change of residence for a myriad of reasons. I won't go into detail. The student decides that they want to return back to Akron-Aguadulce Unified School District.
So you're saying change of residence where the student was moved from one foster home to another foster home?
Right, outside of our attendance.
Okay.
Right, outside of our attendance boundary. There's a best interest determination meeting that's held for the sake of a student and the ed rights holder to say, well, would they be attending the current school and school district or the former school district? By law, we are required, if they choose to elect to come back to our school district, we are required to take the student back.
Right. So they can stay where they were enrolled.
Correct, and the transportation piece that kicks in, and hence hop, skip, jump, can kick it.
Right. So if we have foster children that hear about it in Palmdale, through the foster network of that, well, they have this hop, skip, drive thing, they can go to this school. There's still a qualification period where they have to, like the parent has to get them to our school for a period of time before they're eligible to use this service.
Yes.
There's some commitment contribution by their or their family to get them here for a period of a quarter or a semester or something. Then they can continue their enrollment here. So it's not like we're recruiting them to come in cold turkey and
That's
take
correct.
the program.
That's correct.
I have one question, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but I don't see the funding source. Did I miss it?
On the next part, there's a second.
Okay.
But you could generally give them like the rate thing there so that they understand. Because it's a user fee. It's not like it's as used.
Yes,
correct.
Guys, thank you.
So it's as they use it, right? Yeah. Okay.
So it's like I think that one page under Kelly says, well, like an average one might be $150 or something.
Okay, got it.
So it's like on an upscale Lyft or Uber. Yeah. Okay, call a question.
Kelly Jensen.
Falls Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Calendar room 13A. The next board meeting will be on October 27th, and the following meeting will be on November 10th. Now, is the 10th going to be our only one for November because of Thanksgiving, or are we going to squeeze in right before Thanksgiving?
Yes, for the month of November and December, due to the holidays, there's a meeting per month.
So November 10th will be our only meeting for that, for November. Okay. Future agenda items, I think we had comments by Mr. Falsgraf about items that he wanted to do. Do we want to add the drop dead number for ballots on student ADA district-wide?
I think that if the superintendent's comfortable, that could be a comment in the superintendent's report.
And President Jorgensen, I will not be present at the November 2nd meeting.
November 10th, you mean?
I mean, November, did you say November 2nd?
10th.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Are you gonna be here on the 10th?
yes.
Okay. We weren't gonna give you a pass, so don't.
I thought you said the second, and I was like.
27th and November
Okay.
10th.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have that. Adjournment, motion to consider.
A motion.
Brianna,
Kelly Jensen, second.
Kelly Jensen. Board member discussion? None, hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, aye.
Paul Strap, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-0. We stand adjourned at 10:39.